one person who have been championing the issue about having quorum before having session as it relates to your own rules of the Liberian Senate. What do you make of this?
Well, when we came here, before we came here, we asked the Liberian people, especially Montserrat County, for their blessing so that we can shine the light, put the light on here. We're talking about reforming this place, reforming ourselves, and put us in the right place so that we can have that standing to exercise our oversight responsibility over the government. This place has too much power. And the framers of the Constitution intended purposely that before power leaves this building, there must be a required number of persons that must agree. Because the power that leaves this place is immense. It is binding on the country and the people. We want to make sure that first we do the work of the Liberian people. We must do it with passion, with discipline, and with commitment. The rule of the Liberian Senate, backed by the Constitution, is that there must be quorum of senators seated in session to start session. And to take a decision on regular issues, there must be a threshold number. And on crucial, critical national issues, if we're passing a bill, a simple majority of the Senate, meaning 16 out of 20 or out of 30, must be seated to constitute a simple majority quorum in keeping with Article 33 of the Constitution. And if we want to agree with the president or not agree with the president on the declaration of a state of emergency, we must be 20 or more out of 30 senators before that decision is binding. If we want to review anything or give approval to amending provision of the Constitution, we must be 20 or more. That means that 2/3 of 30 persons. If we're confirming or rejecting, if we're ratifying concession agreement, if we're ratifying international treaties, we must be 20 of 30 persons to say yes or no. On the record, it hasn't been happening because we have not been keen on doing these things. Few persons sit in session with a lot of the seats empty, and decisions are made by few persons in violation of the Constitution, and those decisions are binding on the country and the people. And you have senators arguing that, no, we did this, no, I don't know about it, I don't know when we did it, because we are not following the rule. And in order for us to follow the rule, somebody has to gain the courage here. And thank God, God is giving us the courage to ensure that. More besides, look, we make plenty of money here. It is my view. Even the 5,000 I have decided that I will take, in my view, it's still plenty for the kind of economy and the country we have, for one person to carry. Why you serving people, or you serving your pocket? Every week, we should, on the record, give 8 hours to the country. We work for 8 hours where the public sees us. Session should start from 10 to 2 on Tuesday and Thursday. That's 8 hours a week, 32 hours a month. We get $10,000 gross money. After tax deduction, come to $7,900. The teacher goes to work from 6:30 to 7. He's on campus to prepare for his students. He leaves campus between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. The teacher gives 6 to 7 hours every day, 5 days a week, and we pay him $150. We give 32 hours in a whole month. We take 10,000 gross. To me, we need to work for it as much as I believe that the money is too much that we make here. But while we're making it here, let's And let's do it with passion and commitment and discipline. Our staff are made to come to work every day. We pay them small money. We who the bosses, what the example we're showing. So I've decided that I will be keen on roll call, because the rule that I met here, that a senator can demand roll call, and roll call must be done. And when we do roll call, and you are not present, or we don't have 16 senators seated for the day, then you can carry session on. Now, the rule says the pro tem or the presiding officer will instruct the sergeant at arms to compel the appearance of senators that are absent, especially without excuse. The rule is not strong enough, it's not stringent enough in a way that the only punishment for being absent and upholding or keeping down the people's job from going on is that when you come to session, after we compel your appearance, when you come to session, the only punishment is for you to explain why you are absent. We want to go beyond that. We will be insisting, and thankfully, the pro tem has constituted all of the committees in the Senate, and I am now on about 6 committees, co-chairing 2 or 3 of them. One of the committees I'm happy to be on is the Committee on Modernization of the Liberian Senate, of the legislature as a whole, beginning with the Liberian Senate. The pro tem has constituted these committees. Where is the document? I had it here just now. And I'm a member of the Modernization Committee. I will find it. I'm on the Modernization Committee. We also want to review our rules, that if you didn't come to work and your absence caused the Liberian people business did not go on, when you come to session, you will not only explain why you were absent, you will be made to start to pay some fine to government revenue. And if your absence becomes continual, where it impedes or stalls the work of the Liberian Senate in particular, and the people of Liberia in general, then we should go beyond that to start suspending you from your senatorial duties or expelling you. The people send you here to work. Why are you absent? Without justification. Just because no punishment, so people do what they want to do here. Not when we are here now.
Did you get any information on why you couldn't get quorums from your colleagues? Was there any major event that was taking place in the country today that some of your colleagues were attending? Did you get any information?
There is no major event that is taking place. On Tuesday, we were asked to begin session at 12 o'clock instead of 10, because we had to go to the foreign ministry in keeping with protocol to sign a book of condolence in honor of the late ambassador from Senegal. Her funeral service is today. The pro tem who represents the Liberian Senate on these official matters himself was in session today. And plenary and leadership did not designate any particular senator to attend that funeral. That means that person will have been officially excused. You understand? But nobody gave excuse. The pro tem was in session when we did the roll call. He did not say anybody asking for excuse and what the reason for the excuse. So those senators were absent. So we were 14 today. And because we were 14, we could not do Senate business today, the work of the Liberian people. This is just plain wrong.
Okay. Let's look at the implication. What's the implication on the nation?
The implication...
I'm told the finance minister was expected to appear today.
Correct. It shows to you that we lack interest in the business of the Liberian people here. That the finance minister was summoned before us to speak to crucial issues like the 2020 election and funding of that election, and what keeping the Ministry of Finance from funding the election. For us to discuss it, senators stayed away from session.
We are excused.
We are excused. The pro tem was in session. He answered present when his name was called. And they called other senators. Were 14, meaning 16 were out. 16 senators were out.
So are you now saying that this...
I'm coming. And the pro tem did not say at the absence of any of those senators that, oh, he asked me for excuse, or he's not well, you were in session. You didn't see the pro tem stand up for anybody to say this person is not here because he asked me for excuse, and I granted. But even at that, your absence on excuse does not make you present. It's just that when you are absent on excuse, then you don't face punishment. If you are just absent without excuse, then it's even worse.
Yeah, so you can be included in the quorum when they're saying quorum. You can be
No,
included with your first.
no. When you are absent with excuse, you still are not present, but you are not absent. Your absence does not cause punishment on you because you are excused officially. If you were serving on ECOWAS from the Liberian Senate, and the call was Senator Prince Johnson, and he's on ECOWAS duty in Abuja, he's absent, but he's doing Senate business and Liberia business at ECOWAS. He's absent, but with excuse. But like today, he's not on, for instance, he's not on ECOWAS business today. He's in country, and nobody knows where he is. The program doesn't know where he is. He's actually absent, and without excuse, that should be punishable. And it applies to all senators in that category.
So before we let you go, let's look at this. The Liberian people elected you to come and work, and you have a couple of your friends who are not coming to work. What are some of the steps that you're going to take?
Well, the first thing, the purpose of the roll call is for us to ensure that we meet the required constitutional quorum to do the business of the Liberian people, and so that when we take decisions, the decisions can be made by the required number of votes that should make a decision that will be binding on the country and the people. The roll call also tells the senators that are doing taking the people work seriously or not. You are absent without excuse, no justification. The Liberian people will now know there are people who are working for their money, who really working for this money that will make it.